Hello gamers all over the world, I'm Itano Circus, and today, the 10th of May 2014, it's time to do another episode of Welcome to LittleWarGame. I'm not promoting products here. In this episode, we're going to talk about micro. First of all, because I promised that we would talk about it, but secondly, because it's the second part of strategy. If you watched the last episode, we talked about how, no reminders for me, thank you. Yes, now we are full screen. We talked about how strategy is composed of three parts. Macro, the strategy of more. Micro, which we're talking about today. And decision making, which is a hard one that I'll try and get to you next week. Now, why is micro actually important? Well, micro is actually nothing more than getting the most use out of each unit through manual control. You can do this through the topics that we'll be going into today. We talk about positioning, hotkeys, and the units that benefit most from micro. And why is micro important? Why do we care that much? After all, we know how to... After all, you might say, in an accent that I think is terrible, but it's my accent, not actually yours. After all, Itano Circus, we've already discovered the strategy of making more in the last episode. Surely we don't need to individually control units. Well... yeah, that's true to a point. I mean, if you're that much better than your opponent, you can just make more stuff and kill them with more stuff. But what happens if you can only make a little more stuff than your opponent? Or the same amount of stuff? Or your opponent is just as good or a little better than you are? There are these fine edges that you can only get out with micro, with taking advantage of what you have on the field, that you can't really take advantage of with units that are off the field. Here's another reason that micro is super important. Jibs came out about 5 days ago with version 1.74. And for anyone who has not read the version notes, or maybe, just wanted to know, version 1.74, we're on 1.75 now, actually drastically changed the way the game is played because units across the board got buffs or a benefit to their hit points, and no units got a corresponding buff or increase to their damage. So units do even less damage relative to total hit points now than they did before. Which means if you're in a battle, you want to control as much as possible to get the most efficiency out of your units, because if you don't, there's more time now for the guy who does do that to show his area of expertise and actually make an impact on the game. For those of you who are interested, Workers got an 18% buff. They're at 65 hit points. Soldiers got a 25% buff. They're now at 125 hit points instead of 100. Riflemen and Mages got a 33% buff. They're from 60 to 80. Catapults went up 15 hit points. Towers and houses went up another 50 hit points. So, as I said, we'll be talking about, in this order, hotkeys, positioning, units that benefit the most from micro, and examples. Yes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the map editor. If you have never been in the map editor, I encourage you to do so. Look at this. We can make our own maps. What is this? And if you're interested, you can even test how some units do against other units. Look, player 1, that's you. You can just, how many soldiers does it take to beat however many riflemen? You can just find out here in the map editor. Also, you can upload your map. And when you upload your map, it goes into the community pool where other people can play your maps. It's really super cool. But for today's purposes, we're going to be using this, boom, for testing. Now, hotkeys for success. A large part of micro is that it's very APM intensive. It's very hard to control your units individually in such a way that you get the most efficiency out of them. And we're going to see why that is in a second with, here, we'll send them off against, let's say against 2 towers. Test. Now, if you just hold control and press 1, that's what I use. That's my all army key. Look, all these guys go in a ball. The ball goes to the right, slide to the left, bam. Slide to the right, bam. 1 hop this time. Hop. 1 hop this time. That. Freeze. Everybody clap your hands. Cha 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 cha. Okay. The problem is when you have units in a ball like this, let's say you're attacking and there's catapults, which do area of effect damage, or there's mages with flame strike. They're going to look at all of your riflemen grouped together, and they're going to just smile and wave, boys, and they're going to utterly decimate them. So, well, it's not enough for us to have all of our riflemen doing the something from a roller skating rink in one control group. See, 1A click, 1A click, but they're still in a ball. If they come in against soldiers, so they have to split up, or they come against mages who have flame strike, will do area of effect damage, or catapults, or anything like that, they're in deep, deep trouble. So you can use hotkeys. You can use hotkeys, he said in all caps, to ameliorate this issue. Remember how we had everything grouped to control group 1? Let's take this half, put it over here. And we'll guide that to control group, we'll say 3. We'll take this half, we'll call it control group 2. Now look, our units are going to attack over here, going to attack over here. Oh no, there's a mage coming up, he's going to flame strike all of us, 3-2. Bam. We just split all of the things. And it actually didn't take that much effort out of us. Kudos to hotkeys. Now hotkeys are also important for this reason. For right now, I'm sorry, Rifleman, you have become unemployed. I mean, the life is hard these days, so you are no longer a rifleman. You are rifle worker. Ah, how does it feel? It feels demeaning, and I don't like it. I'm sorry, man. We'll get your living wage sometime soon. But here is Joe. He's the rifleman turned worker, and hotkeys are important for scouting as well, which is a part of micro. It's also part of decision making, but we'll get into that next time. Now, let's say this is your scouting rifleman worker. He goes around, he wants to see what everyone has. He's going to see the 2 towers, Lord of the Rings style, but he doesn't know that. We just happen to. Oh, well, he can feel it, but he's getting hit by it. Now, if you have other things going on, if you're moving these riflemen, but you've hotkeyed this worker. Okay, well, we're moving this around. Oh, he got hit. We hit 4, and we move him back over. Now he's good to go. This is really important. Some people that really exemplify hotkeys. Jibs, creator of the game, awesome man, woo to Jibs. Gam, he's like the Gary Oak to my Ash. Actually, he's more like the blue to my red, since Ash Ketchum is utterly terrible. Gam is just really good, and sadly, Jibs will take, at the beginning of the game, last couple of times that I played him, he will take one of his starting workers and control group it, and then send it to your base. And this little guy will run around everywhere. He will start poking houses, he will start poking you, he will just start annoying everything that you're doing and building, and it will allow him to see everything that you're doing. And he's able to do that because he has hotkeyed that worker. It is actually crazy to behold. Like, I have only, I think, one time killed that worker because he's able to micro it so he has the most efficiency. It stays alive forever. Forever. It's crazy. Another person who does something like this is Gam. Gam will take Joe, the little rifleman worker here, the unemployed rifleman, and he will send him out, maybe not at the very beginning of the game, but sometime close. He'll arrive in your base early, and then he will become the most annoying worker on the face of the earth. I don't know if it's more or less annoying than Jib's worker. Jib's worker is mostly, from what I've seen, for the purpose of making sure that he doesn't get hit by cheeses or proxies or any really aggressive play. But Gam, oh man, Gam's worker is like the spawn of worker hell. Like, here, here's your base, right? I'm going to pretend that I'm going to control 4. He's sending his worker, Joe, into your base. He comes in here. He sees exactly what you're doing. And then he's going to go punch your house. And then he's going to go punch your workers as they're getting things from the gold mine. And then he's going to go punch the house that you're building, or the barracks. And then, if you're doing all of that just fine, he's going to, oh look, start a tower. And you have to pull people off the line to stop the tower from building, but Gam doesn't care. He will just keep going and doing that. He will pressure you all of the time. It's not annoying. It's beyond annoying. It's amazing because he can just get that much use out of it.